Good evening. Welcome to the Yorkton News at 5. Some residents of Regina seniors housing say they don't feel safe in their own building. They say strangers are wandering the hallways, and in one instance, a makeshift harpoon was found. The buildings are owned by the province and operated by Regina Housing. The seniors say there should be an on-site security guard and video cameras.
Guests of the tenants are roaming around all hours of the night. One was found sleeping in the laundry room just lately. The tenants don't feel safe in our building when we have people outsiders walking around in our building, in and out of the building.
The provincial government is aware of the seniors' concern and is preparing to respond to this a little later on. A preliminary hearing began today for Carry the Kettle Nakota Nation Chief Scott Ishapi. He was first arrested in March last year following a financial crimes investigation. He is charged with fraud, theft, money laundering, and breach of trust. The hearing set out to decide if there is enough evidence to proceed with this trial. However, details and evidence that were spoke about in court are under a publication ban. Meanwhile, the trial for a 38-year-old Saskatchewan woman accused of sexually assaulting and physically assaulting residents at a Wilkie group home got underway today. And a warning, some of the details in this story can be disturbing to some viewers. Jacqueline Elias is on trial in North Battleford, charged with multiple counts of assault and sexual assault and one count of sexual assault with a weapon and uttering threats. Now, RCMP charged Elias in February 2024, alleging the incidents happened between January 2023 and February 2024 and involved 4 residents. Court heard the group home residents were all nonverbal and in wheelchairs. Today, her former co-worker testified that she would put her breasts in the face of some residents and then would call them perverts. The co-worker also testified that Elias poked a resident in the groin with a stick while making a sexual comment. The Crown is expected to call a total of 4 witnesses. Now, this morning, the province announced $1.7 million in funding for the Regina Police Service. The funding is part of the Safer Communities and Neighbourhoods Enforcement Initiative, with $6 million going to police services across Saskatchewan. The $1.7 million received by the RPS will go towards recruiting and retaining about 27 officers. The province feels this funding will improve frontline policing and response times.
Crime is complex, more complex than ever. We are responding to more calls than we ever have, and so we need to increase that resourcing in order to respond effectively. But yeah, absolutely, that's, their primary is 911 call response. We have expectations from the community that we're able to get to those emergencies in a timely manner, and we need to be adequately staffed to be able to do that.
For more of this, the initiative was first introduced in the fall of 2024. Ukrainians living in Saskatchewan are calling on the province to reverse some recent immigration changes. In January, the province only allowed workers in certain industries to apply for permanent status if their workers' permits were expiring in 6 months or less. Following new immigration policies from Ottawa, the province capped retail, trucking, and other sectors that typically use a disproportionate amount of immigration spaces and only allowed applications during specific periods. Now, Ukrainians feel unfairly caught in the bureaucracy right now because their specialized permits renew for 3 years at a time. And now they don't want to wait 2.5 years to apply to become a permanent resident or risk being deported if their application is denied.
It makes me feel upset, because you never know what's going to be happen tomorrow.
It seems quite unfair to sort of change that when somebody's sort of partway through that process and has already sort of put down roots, and now they're not sure when and if they'll be able to get permanent residency here.
CTV has reached out to the province about any potential changes to the program moving forward. WestJet is expanding its offering of flights from Saskatchewan to Atlantic Canada. From late April until early October, WestJet flights from Saskatoon and Regina will go to Halifax twice weekly, up from the previous just once-a-week schedule. The airline says the expansion in both frequency and dates is due to popular demand after Atlantic flights to and from both Saskatchewan major cities began last year. The province is offering people a chance to ice fish for free over the Family Day weekend. Between February 14th and 18th, anglers can fish without a license or any provincial body of water that is open angling. Possession limits still apply for the weekend. Before heading out, the province is reminding people to check the ice thickness on the body of water they plan on fishing at, and also check the rules and regulations for that specific spot. It also advises people dress for the weather and clean up all garbage before leaving. Now, they said check the ice, and that's pretty important these days considering how warm it is right now, Sabine.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing it everywhere. All the streets, we're seeing the slush and a lot of the ice melting. However, we're also still experiencing some slippery conditions out there due to that melting that's happening. Now, in terms of what we're seeing in the parkland, we did see above seasonal temperatures over the weekend, a lot of melting happening. But today, we've seen a gradual cool down with the temperature. Started out above zero and then has just continued to gradually drop below zero and continuing to drop as we head into this evening. Now, the average daytime high is usually about -9. We are still, last I checked late this afternoon, sitting around -4. And then even the low tonight, expecting to drop to -13, which is still warmer than what the average of about -20 is for this time of year. So still seeing above seasonal temperatures, but now we are starting to see some of those temperatures dip below zero. Even tomorrow, expecting a high of -6. But there are some above zero days ahead, and I'll have all those details coming up in your full forecast. Lee?
All right, thank you, Sabine. And we apologize for any drilling noises you're hearing. We're currently having our roofs fixed right now. SJHL Yorkton is on quite the tear in 2026. Since January 1st, the Terriers have won 12 of 15 games, including a pair on the weekend.
Back in his own zone, up ahead quickly, 2-on-1 here as Jai Zawatsky walks in, turns and shoots, and he scores!
Zawatsky with the OT winner on Saturday gave Yorkton a 4-3 win over Melville, while on Friday, Thomas Rees scored with just 3 seconds to go. That gave Yorkton a 5-4 win over Estevan. Yorkton has beaten the Bruins in 6 straight. And with those wins, the Terriers have jumped into 3rd place in the league, tied with Nipawin, but with a game in hand. They are also just 3 points back of the Battleford North Stars with 13 games to go. Yorkton faces Weyburn on Wednesday in a big divisional game. As for Melville, they are currently tied with Estevan for 7th, although they do have 2 games in hand. They are also just a point back of Kindersley with 3 games in hand on the Clippers. Melville hosts Weyburn as well. That'll be on Friday. The Crave streaming series Heated Rivalry has been a hit not just in Canada, but around the world. And for some in Saskatchewan's LGBTQ+ community, the show has created a wave of acceptance. The show centers around a love story between 2 male hockey players on rival franchises in one of 6 books in Canadian author Rachel Reid's Game Changers series. Heated Rivalry has surged in popularity over the past few months, and its message of acceptance is being received by those in the LGBTQ+ community.
Specifically in a sport like hockey, specifically in that sport, you know, where it's hyper-masculine, it's pretty closeted, you know, a lot of individuals wouldn't want to come out. And then when you hear from the actors speaking about individuals reaching out to them behind the scenes and saying, you know what, I saw myself in this.
Davis going on to say Heated Rivalry has become more than just a TV show, but something special for those in the LGBTQ+ community. A group in Regina is encouraging people to try long track speed skating, one of the many events taking place at the Olympic Winter Games this month in Italy. The Regina Speed Skating Club is hosting their first community event at the Oval, aiming to attract new members to the club. With blades of skates being longer than what you see in hockey or figure skating, long track speed skating allows people to travel a further distance on the ice. Throughout its years in the community, the club says it has seen skaters move on to compete nationally.
To people. There's so many opportunities for young skaters right now. There's skaters in Calgary for Canada Youth Nationals. We've had skaters from our club attend Neo Junior Nationals all across the country. It's really an awesome way to meet people from all over Canada and you know, experience the joy of sport and competition.
During the event, police were out using radar speed guns just to test how fast skaters were going. Regina Speed Skating Club will be offering programs up until the end of March. Hey, congrats to the pride of Yorkton, Steve Laycock. He won the Provincial Mixed Curling Championships on the weekend with partner Nancy Martin. The National Championship goes March 21st to 27th in Surrey, BC. And a Prince Albert woman has found a creative way to spend the cold winter months. Nola Lehner has built an ice castle in her yard every winter for the last 3 years. She says 3 years ago, a friend showed her a photo of an ice castle on social media and suggested that she could likely make one as well. She was up for the challenge, of course, and got to building. And this year's castle, constructed of snow, ice, and food coloring. The blocks were made at home in lasagna pans, and she plans to keep on going.
It's going to be different, but absolutely next year. Yep, It's my holiday project. Well, actually, it's going to be my retirement project because I'm going to retire soon. So, yeah, definitely next year.
The castle took over about a month to complete. Yes, well, not a bad day, cloudy day in the city of Yorkton. At least you don't hear any drilling. We've got more details coming up next.
Taking a look outside through our weather cam in the Yorkton area, a bit breezy. We did have the winds gusting up to about 40 kilometers an hour at times throughout the day today, and the clouds have decided they just want to stick around for another day or two, which is okay because we will see more sunshine arriving soon. But this is basically what we have been seeing for most of the province on our radar satellite over the last couple of hours. More so in the morning, we did see more of this cloud cover moving towards Manitoba, but for the most part, the clouds are here to stay, especially as we take a closer look at the parkland. So throughout most of the morning, cloudy conditions, as we saw on the weather cam there, and this is what we've got heading into this evening. So in terms of snowfall or active weather, not really dealing with too much except for the Hudson Bay area, and it does look like it's a little bit more than just some light snowfall. Could see up to about 5 centimeters of snowfall once the system is completely cleared, and it does look like it will clear out as we head into later into the evening. So not a system that's expected to last overnight and continuing just to create some accumulation there. For just the Hudson Bay area, again, up to about 5 centimeters of snow. We could possibly see some trace amounts of snow, light snowfall later in the afternoon in the parkland, but it's looking like it could be up to about 1 centimeter of snow, so not something that could create some massive accumulation on the streets in the parkland, but just something to be aware of if you are happening to head out. We will possibly see some of this cloud cover break as well in parts of the parkland, but for the most part, we're seeing just a blanket of cloud cover that's going to continue to stick around for most of the day tomorrow for many parts of the parkland. It's mostly the southwest that's seeing clear conditions and a lot of sunshine, but that's okay. Like I said, we will see more of that sunshine return as we head into the rest of the week. Now, I mentioned earlier in talking with Lee that the average low for this time of year is about -20 for the Yorkton surrounding area in the parkland. So we're still seeing well above seasonal temperatures for our lows. So there is a chance of seeing, as we saw on the trackers, some light snow in the Hudson Bay area and Swan River. -13 for Hudson Bay, Swan River a low of -12. Fog expected for Humboldt -10, and -10 for the rest of the parkland for tonight. Tomorrow, we're still seeing above average temperatures. Again, for reference, -9 is usually the average daytime high. Much warmer in Humboldt and Watrous, mainly sunny. -1 is the expected daytime high. Swan River close to the average, -8 with a mix of sun and cloud. And clouds continue to stick around for areas like Wynyard and Melville, with Wynyard at -3 and Melville at -6. For Yorkton tonight, we're going to continue to see clouds sticking around, -13, winds at 30 kilometers an hour. Tomorrow, warming to -6, winds up to 20 kilometers an hour, and still seeing a mix of sun and cloud. But take a look at what's to come for the next 7 days. -6 tomorrow, as I mentioned, a mix of sun and cloud. Wednesday, warming to 0, mainly sunny. +3 on Thursday, so bumping above 0 with mainly sunny conditions. 0 on Friday and Saturday. Sunday will dip back down below 0, -4 by Monday. -5, a mix of sun and cloud, and even the lows we're expecting to see warmer than the average lows.
Up next, the Yorkton Business Improvement District is rebranding. Find out more after the break.
Do you have a community event you would like to promote? Or maybe you'd like to draw attention to your organization? Let your local CTV station help you spread the word. Contact us at 306-786-8444 or email yorktonnews@bellmedia.ca. You can appear on CTV Yorkton's News at 5 and get your message to our viewers.
Our community brought to you by Key Auto Group. Experience clear and simple car buying online all the time.
Welcome back. Today we are catching up with Wybit because they are rebranding. My guest is Caitlin Kitson. Hello, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, but I'm also not rebranding an entire organization. So how is it going?
Yeah, so it's been a dream of mine since I joined the Yorkton Business Improvement District as their executive director just over a year ago. I think the logo has been with the organization, I think almost from the beginning of time of the organization, which was 2004. Our old logo is it's of the Hearst building, a very downtown recognizable building with some of the light posts that Wybit paid for. It was the yellows and the maroons, very beautiful logo. But as we know, many organizations go through a refresh, right? A rebrand, and just, it was time to kind of modernize our logo. And as we were looking at new initiatives and trying to get our, do more within the district, it was time for a change. So, we're still the Yorkton Business Improvement District. We still have the same mandate to support our members within our district. But yeah, I'm excited. It's, the blues are kind of our main. We've got a dark blue and a light blue, and then just a little bit of yellow in there. So yeah, I'm really excited to launch this logo. I'm hoping that it's something that catches people's eyes, and yeah, it's just a really exciting time for Wybit.
I bet. But in a community that values heritage so much, given that the mill is being redone as we speak. So in a community that values heritage, isn't this challenging?
Yeah, we did consult lots of our members, and this is why it probably took a year. We've had, I think this is logo number, rebrand number 20, version 20, because there was lots of back and forth of, what to include. And it's not, we don't want to lose that heritage, component of our community. It's so important. I think we were just looking for something, simple and modern that can go on, stickers and businesses, or we can use for shirts, or, just kind of from the branding standpoint, something that's simple, easy to put, everywhere. And so, we're going to keep, our old logo and the heritage, and you're going to see that represented on our website and some of the initiatives and projects we have coming. But this is going to be, but yes, definitely lots of conversations with lots of people to make sure that we got it right.
And beyond the logo, is there any kind of rebranding that is happening behind the scenes, perhaps?
Yeah, so, one thing that I went to the board with is, a logo is great, but it comes with a whole rebrand, and we're not going to be able to do it overnight. We're not like the big banks that like overnight and they have all, the signs switched, while everybody else sleeps. That's not, Wybit does definitely not have the resources to do so. So our website has got kind of like the first rebrand done. You'll notice that some pages are taken off as we work behind the scenes. We're going to be launching a new program in February, so stay tuned for that, and that will go with the rebrand as well. We're looking at, doing some sort of interactive map on our website, and, that people can explore the district, each shop kind of within the district through our interactive map. So it's going to be kind of in stepping stones, but yes, there will be, more of how we talk about the district as kind of like a welcoming, thriving, safe district for all to, live in, but also work in and shop in.
Is this in any way connected to reimagining downtown Yorkton?
Yeah, so, we hosted an event in November about reimagining downtown Yorkton, which really was the launch of the City of Yorkton is updating our downtown Yorkton plan, and they're working with consultants to go through that. But one of the comments that we heard from the downtown Reimagine event was, the district seems tired, right? And it's time for that refresh and the time for the energy put behind it. And, what better way to do that, in my opinion, was to launch a new logo and, get it out there and talk about who we are as a district and what we can offer people.
So when can people expect to see this new logo?
So the new logo is hitting the Yorkton this week. So make sure you grab a Yorkton this week. There's an ad in there with that. Our website is live with our new logo, and there will be social media posts as well. And, you'll start to hopefully see some stickers downtown and things over the next few months as we get our marketing materials developed.
And is there anything else that need to be done on your end for this to be complete?
Yeah, there's always a lot of things. So one thing that we're looking at redoing this year is our address stickers for all of our downtown districts, like the white ones with the number. So like there's lots of just, I guess, deliverables now. I think, board approval strategies all there. It's now just execute.
Well, that's so exciting. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing about these big news.
Yeah, thank you, and hoping the community reacts positively to the change as well.
I hope so too. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Manitoba's health agency is asking anyone who attended Manitoba Ag Days in Brandon to monitor for symptoms of measles this week. Manitoba Health says that's because they may have been exposed to the disease while attending the event in January from the 19th to 21st. The agency says those who visited nearby tourist areas such as hotels, restaurants, and shops during the week of the event may have been exposed. The event's website describes Ag Days as Canada's largest indoor farm show. And it is Black History Month. That is a time for Caribbean and African people as well to come together in Regina. On Saturday, a breakfast was hosted at Shiloh Assembly Church. People from the Saskatchewan Jamaican Society reflected on their role in the province's history.
One of the Jamaican slogans are that we little but we tell you what. So we're small, but our presence is big, it's loud. And so this is one of the ways that we celebrate.
Jamaicans or black people are very strong people. Like, we persevere. It wasn't always easy, but we made it through.
What's your favorite Jamaican food?
Jamaican food is my favorite is pasta.
Pasta's not Jamaican.
Now, the Saskatchewan Jamaican Society was formed back in 1992. And speaking to people at the event, they said that they've seen an increase of Jamaicans in their community over the past 5 years. All right, that's all the time I have for your 5 o'clock news. I'll be back at 6 o'clock with all your local headlines. But for now, get ready for national news.